fell down the weirdest rabbit hole on like YouTube Shorts the other day.
Go on.
Huh? My homepage is unusable now because I fell down this rabbit hole of Creationist YouTube. I think that's the name.
Yep, that is correct. What the fuck are you doing watching Creationist?
Okay, I was just like...
You're curious?
I was curious.
Fair enough.
Because I got recommended this one short, and it was just like this guy being like, you need to listen to this. And like, I thought it was like a science video, right? Because that's how they present themselves. Yeah. And it was just this guy disproving Darwinism, evolution.
Darwinism?
Yeah, Darwinism. Whatever it is.
Yeah. Evolutionism.
Yeah. It was like disproving Darwin evolution. And it was, the argument basically boiled down to, well, we can't see evolution right in front of us. There's no proof of evolution. There's only like fossils and stuff, but we haven't actually seen within our lifetime. Therefore, it doesn't actually exist. And
how fast does he think evolution happens?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's like my grandfather had 2 arms and I have 4 now. That's just how it works.
That's what the scientists want you to think, Joey.
That's evolution.
That's what the scientists want you to think.
Christ.
But it was like I was curious because similar to like any like flat earthers or any other big conspiracy theory or anything like that. To me it's more like very curious about how someone genuinely thinks this way.
Yeah.
How do you have a belief system that has molded you into like actually, thinking this way? And you can be religious, I'm a religious guy, you can be religious, you can believe in God, and everything like that. But there is a big difference between believing in religion, believing there's a God out there, to some of the beliefs that I saw in these videos, which was basically fuck science. Science doesn't prove anything, so we're gonna make our own science.
I remember I saw like an argument that a creationist was trying to prove about like the same thing with like evolution, and then someone said like, okay, well then how do you explain like dinosaur fossils? Because like we have carbon dating and stuff like that. Like that's scientifically backed up. And I think the general retaliation to that from a creationist side of thing is, oh, God put those there to test our faith. And I was like, okay, but like that's like you could say that about anything.
Why would God be so obsessed with testing our faith all the time? What's up with that?
Yeah, it's like he doesn't trust us.
Well, we ain't trustworthy, Joey.
It's like, well, I'm going to church every Sunday, and this motherfucker still doesn't trust me.
We objectively do too many bad things. We have fucked up so much. I don't think there's any redeem in us. I don't think that's the test. I think there's got to be some other test.
God's like, these hoes ain't loyal. I'm going to test them out.
Yo, you for the streets? So
it's like, you better not let me put you out onto the streets. I'm testing you right now. I don't know, man.
It's just weird seeing all these beliefs kind of clash, whereas they would normally be kind of a little more isolated.
Yeah. Exactly, because I was talking to Sydney about it because it like I was also curious why a lot of this seems to be very America centric. Like specific, obviously there are cults and everything all over the world, but America's a place where you can have something like Scientology, for example, where it's just to me, I see something like Scientology, and for the longest time it was like a skit on South Park or something like that, something I didn't actually believe was a big thing. And then when I grew older, I've realized, oh, this actually has a big following with a lot of
huge following.
Well, I think
huge following.
I mean, South Park, I think, like destroyed their reputation. I think, at least publicly.
South Park are pretty good at that.
Yeah, I think because like before that, everyone was too scared to talk about them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they're still around.
They're still around, but I think they've suffered a lot of. I think the numbers are dwindling. I'm pretty sure. Can you Google it? But I'm pretty sure they lose members more than they gain members.
Yeah.
Mainly because. I think because like what was it? They gated a bunch of knowledge behind buying more. Yeah. And then South Park just did when their episode I think they actually released where they mentioned what a lot of the knowledge was. Right. And so then I think a lot of people who are in it were like, hold up, is this really the next fucking step of knowledge? This? Wait, no, I meant like Google Scientology.
Yeah, how many Scientology members there are?
Yeah, how many
about you?
Scientology members are there?
Because
What do Scientologists believe again?
it was something to do with aliens coming to
Aliens.
Earth. Yeah, there's only
Aliens.
40,000 members.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that's still a
Oh, it's
lot.
growing? Really? I thought it was shrinking.
Experiencing
Wait, who's that by?
Yeah, by the Scientologists.
Yeah, I don't know about.
It's the world's fastest
How many
growing
did Scientology
religion,
have at peak?
apparently.
100,000.
Okay, in the early
Dipped
90s.
to about 20,000.
It was around in the early 90s?
Yeah, in early 90s is when it was at its
Jesus.
peak, because then obviously the South Park episode came around, what, early 2000?
Yeah. Can you Google what do Scientologists believe? Because I am genuinely curious.
Yeah. All I know is aliens are involved. Okay, Scientology describes itself as a study and handling of the spirit in relation to itself, others, and all of life. Scientologists also believe that people have innate yet suppressed power and ability, which can be regained if cleared or unwanted behavioral patterns and discomfort. That just sounds like
I mean, again, it's all of these type.
that literally sounds like men.
That was a whole paragraph of absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scientologists believe that people are immortal alien beings called Thetans who have forgotten their true nature and are trapped
Okay.
on Earth in a human body.
Listen,
That's
I think a lot of these religions or whatever, I don't even think it's fair to call it a religion, were just predatory ways of getting people who needed help in one way or another, and they told them, hey, this can solve all your problems.
No, but
this
see,
appeals.
I don't know, man. Like, I look at this, right? Like, you know.
But you weren't told that right away. That's not what you were told. They didn't open up with that originally.
So how does a Scientologist convince someone who's down in the dumps to be like, listen?
From my understanding, it was along the lines of like, you do a test and they'd be like, look, this is what's wrong with you, and we can help fix this if you join us, and then we can teach you how to regain control of your powers and your body. And then as you would join, you would learn more information about it. That was the design of it. Before, obviously, all of it got leaked from past members.
Yeah.
That was a WikiHow of how to join Scientology. 12 steps with pictures.
Well, this is like, obviously, yeah. But so you have to remember, bear in mind, like back in like the 90s, this was all shrouded in mystery. No one knew
we
what,
didn't have the internet.
no one knew
for
what they
sure.
did.
Yeah.
And then obviously, when you know, back then as well, they used to cease and desist anyone that would talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean,
very
yeah, definitely, like, you know, the internet coming around has certainly made a lot of people who were in these, like, you know, cults and religions realize.
Again, I don't know everything about it, so I have no idea.
Yeah. But, no, it is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I've known people who have joined cults before.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Who do you know who joined a cult?
This person, they joined a cult, right? And viewing this cult from the outside, I know I know exactly why this person had joined a cult, because you know, there was a moment where they lost a very, very close family member, and unfortunately they were in a position of just need, basically just looking for something. And that's how a lot of these cults get people.
Totally.
They give fixes, or they give, like, you know, internal fixes to a lot of problems that people are looking for when they are going through the lowest of the lows.
Especially like these group of people obviously are very welcoming generally, because if you're willing to join, they're like, awesome.
Yeah.
Please join us.
Yeah.
And obviously there's that instant level of community and warmth that they offer to people who really, really need it.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously it's not based in anything genuine. It's based upon
feelings.
You need to believe in this weird thing that we believe, and there's probably some very weird strings attached at some point, possibly, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
It's all quite predatory. But at the same time, if they're not doing anything bad, like there are some cults where they just don't do anything. They're just a bunch of odd people.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, no,
fine.
I think those are...
You're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, those
You
are
all seem to
fine.
take care of each other.
Yeah.
At that point, it just becomes like no different to like a fan club, you know? Like it's just a bunch of people with similar interests coming together and embracing
There was
lives,
that
you know?
one Japanese dude who had like was it the 90s or something? He had his own cult of women who were his followers, but he didn't have any kids with them. But they all said that there was nothing weird going on. All of them promised there's nothing weird going on. Do you remember this one? I forgot what it. Do you know what it's called? Do you?
It's like half the culture like. So I want multiple wives.
Yeah, honestly, I think it does seem like most cults start from horny dudes who want to cheat.
Yeah,
but have reason to do it. What the fuck did those guys doing?
I don't know.
It's not
and then, you know, the guy eventually passed, and these women all kept doing it together.
Right.
They kept the group together even when he passed.
Yeah.
And said, look, no one else is gonna. No men are going to join, and we're going to run like a cafe together.
Yeah,
right.
So they all run a cafe somewhere in like Osaka or something. And it's like, but it was like a big thing in the news at one point because they thought that the guy kidnapped the girls, but then all the girls were like, no.
Oh, they were there.
We want to be here.
Yeah.
He's chill. But apparently they live in like really bad conditions at one point.
I mean, I recently interviewed a dude who's
that didn't seem like a cult. That seemed like a horny guy. Who was kind of that guy seemed weird.
No,
I'm sure he could have started a cult.
No, he was definitely no. So the guy I interviewed didn't start the cult. His dad did.
Okay.
And he was the video should be up on.
I had
by
to
the
turn it
time
off
this
for 5
comes
minutes.
out.
I couldn't stand the guy. It was hard to watch.
So the guy, his dad was the one who started this cult, and he was supposed to be the successor because he was the firstborn. But then he was like, nah, this is fucking weird. I'm dipping out. And he was just basically saying like, yeah, a lot of these cults in Japan, especially, that started in like, you know, the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They all kind of use the same tactic of like, you know, some kind of like one person being the mediator of like a heavenly superpower or something, and like basically becoming like the oracle of some kind and trying to inform people of their ways and stuff. And I think the cult is still around, even though the leader is like dead now. But
so how does the cult beliefs tie into him having multiple wives?
So
he's horny.
Yeah.
So at least in the case with the guy I interviewed, I think it was a different cult, but he also had like what he called secretaries around him.
Okay.
Right.
There was no concrete evidence that he was like was or wasn't sleeping with these women, but he certainly had a lot of these secretaries around at all times that were like kind of controlling everything he did and like said and stuff like that. But yeah, but the most fucked up thing was like, you know, like this leader would, you know, go around saying to his followers, being like, you know, like, oh, the spirit of Jesus Christ has entered my body and is telling me that you have an illness, and in order to fix this illness you have to pray and buy this thing off of the cult that will like help cure all of your sicknesses. And it's just you know, that kind of stuff.
Obviously I think Japan has a really high ratio of cults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think Japan is so susceptible or has so many cults?
Because so many people are looking for a fix to their lives.
Yeah. And especially considering the fact that like Christianity is just basically non-existent in this country.
Yeah.
I think people are just trying to find that like one thing to like clutch onto when they're down in the dumps, right? And unfortunately, rather than Christianity, which is a tiny, tiny, tiny minority in Japan, the thing that usually pops into their, you know, lives before that are these shady cults.
Well, what's the main religion in Japan?
Is Buddhism, Shintoism,
right? Shintoism.
Yeah.
It's not really a practiced religion. It's more of a... I think I saw an interesting thing that was like 90% of Japanese people go to shrines, but it's not like 90% don't identify as religious.
Yeah.
So like people don't see going to the shrine as being religious.
No,
even
because
though in like Western culture,
it's more like a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's more or like spirituality.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, if
or
you
like
went,
a Japanese custom that everyone should abide by.
like if you went to
thing,
church
you know?
to pray once a month, people would think you're pretty religious.
Yeah, so there we go. 48% are Shinto, 46% are Buddhist, and 1% are Christian.
Hey, I mean that's still a lot of followers.
That's still a lot. Yeah, I mean, like I think partly to do with like I don't know much about Shintoism traditionally, but I know Buddhism doesn't really. I would say Buddhism, in like compared to a lot of other religions, is much closer to like a lifestyle, because we don't really believe in a single god. It's more about you know, the way you live your life.
Isn't it kind of like some branches of Christianity though, where like there are obviously a lot more intense versions of Buddhism depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Like there's some pretty very
like Stoic Buddhism.
very intense forms of Buddhism that are maybe not so chill as they're painted out to be in Western media.
Well, I think
it's
that's
kind of a spectrum, right?
That is. It's. I guess the same as like a lot of religions.
True.
A lot of people have done things in the name of religion in the past.
Yikes!
Did you see that YouTube? Huh? You know that one of those YouTubers. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him any credit for anything ever. The one who did the video where he's like, "I'm going to go across Japan without paying."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's just got elected to European Parliament.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're talking about the guy who like got on the Shinkansen supposedly for free, right?
Yeah, he's in the European Parliament.
How?
What?
Type it in. YouTuber becomes European Parliament.
How did this happen?
How did that happen?
He's from I think Croatia.
Okay.
And he's running as an independent. I guess he somehow won the seat. I have no idea how.
What?
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, the news article there.
The BBC one there?
Not Croatia, sorry. Cyprus is what I meant.
Cyprus.
Sorry. He's from Cyprus. And,
YouTube prankster voted in a Cyprus MEP.
I don't even know he was running. But yeah, he won somehow.
He won?
Well, he got the third largest number, which gave him a seat.
What's happening in Cyprus, brother?
Yeah, and that guy has like one of the most awful thumbnails on YouTube. It's the one where he goes, "I survived 100 hours in Africa." It's just him surrounded by
wasn't he the guy who was just like, "I went to the poorest place on earth," and it was just
that was it. That was the one.
It was just like, "Wow, look at these kids."
Yeah, so he's in the European Parliament making some key decisions in.
Something has gone wrong with this world.
We shouldn't give YouTubers this much power.
There are certain YouTubers, and then there are.
Look at this! Oh my!
Oh god!
Look at this thumbnail.
God,
where is it?
God!
There it is. That one. There it is.
Oh my god!
There it is.
That's
Look
horrible.
at that! Look at that! That's the guy who's in your parliament.
Horrible.
Everyone thought Mr. Beast would be president. This is not the timeline I thought we'd be in. I'll be honest with you.
Jesus Christ.
I can't believe this. This is
Who
absolutely
voted
shocking.
for this bugger?
Apparently 20%.
What the fuck?
Isn't that insane?
19.4%. How bad were the other candidates?
Did he just go on like a big campaign?
Does
or
that
something?
speak to the power of influence and influences is kind of worrying in a sense where politics can be impacted
It's
now?
very worrying.
Yeah.
There are some other YouTubers, I don't really want to get into it much because I don't really want to talk about the politics around it, but there are some other YouTubers who are also running for seats in other areas of the world.
This is like the next level of like prank YouTubers. Be like, haha, just a prank. I'm making decisions for your country.
We had the people did a bunch of the London mayoral elections. They did a bunch of people ran as kind of jokes. Yeah. But none of them were running seriously.
Right.
But now we're starting to get some that are actually running seriously and pulling in numbers, which, you know, if the current option is terrible, I guess, sure. But when the YouTuber running is one of the worst pieces of human garbage, it's certainly a bit more worrying.
Like, legit, how bad were the other candidates?
I don't know. Like, I don't understand how you could vote for this man. Actually, awful.
Maybe they aren't even aware that he was like a content creator. You know, maybe
Most
some people are voting just being like, "Oh, there's just this like younger dude, you know, trying to get a seat or whatever."
The opponents wouldn't pounce on that, though. But
I'm wondering if he did make content on this or if it was. I don't know enough about this news story to like.
Isn't this insane?
Isn't
this actually insane?
This headline itself just feels like an Onion article. Yeah.
In the same article, literally at the bottom of it, YouTube is sorry for freeloading stunt in Japan. Oh yeah. God. Do you really want the guy making decisions who was like, "Oh, it's only 8 yen. I don't want to pay it. It's only 8 yen."
Yeah.
And you most definitely had the money. Fuck off.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's so annoying, isn't it?
Oh, it was for a prank, innit? It's for a stunt. It's for a stunt.
Yeah. It's like, I'm joking.